Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. Today we have what's probably going to be the final installment in the coverage of this CC mass exodus drama, as we do have Wargaming's response now, and maybe they might add more to it later, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. So this was posted on the CC Discord server. It is up on the forums as well, but this is how it was sent to me this morning. I think it came out around like 11:30 in the morning. I was at work, so I don't exactly remember what time it was. But anyway, I'm going to read straight from it, and I will throw it up on screen for you guys to follow along as we go through it. So here we go. Hello, everyone. We are awfully sorry that April White Mouse and other CCs are no longer part of our community contributor program, and we'd like them to know that they will be missed. We respect their decision and want to thank them for their contributions, devotion, and passion for the game and program over several years. We wish all of them best of luck and hope that they will stay in touch with us nevertheless. We will always be here to talk. We understand that there are several causes that have led us to this situation and that we have upset and disappointed many of our CCs and players. While some of these causes are self-explanatory and our commitment to fix them remains, there are a few specific points we'd like to comment on. We appreciate the community feedback about Missouri being obtainable via random bundles, exclusively in 10.7. We've been discussing this since last week and decided to add an alternative way to purchase the ship. We will provide details on our dev blog soon. On the topic of Missouri, we know that there is an open question whether her earnings are on par with the pre-update version, especially considering signal flags and camouflage bonuses. We're carefully analyzing her adjusted earnings following the update, and we'll share our decision whether any adjustments to the mission are to be made. Regardless of April White Mouse's CC membership status, we will stay true to our commitment to release HMCS Huron in 2022. She's been added to our production plans and is scheduled to arrive around late summer 2022. Best regards, World Warship Team. So, this was less than what I expected. I think it took them like 3 days to write this. I believe they announced on like Saturday night that they were working on it, but it wasn't quite ready yet. Same for Sunday and Monday as well. Then it came out today. Considering it was taking them that long, I thought this was going to be like a 2 or 3 paragraph ordeal, not half a paragraph and then a bullet point list. But sometimes less is more, and considering Wargaming's track record for clarity, it might have been a good call to go with less. However, they didn't really apologize for anything. They didn't apologize for the increased aggressive monetization. They didn't apologize for the increased gambling mechanics. They didn't apologize for the deterioration of the relationship between CCs and the dev team, which, you know, for two out of those 3 things, the increased monetization and the loot boxes and stuff, you could definitely argue that it's their game, they can do what they want with it, and they can. I've said as much in the past. It is their game, they need to make money, I understand that, but we as players can voice our frustration with how they go about doing that. But they didn't even address that at all, really too much. And they didn't even address the issues with the CCs at all. Now, I've heard rumors that this is kind of just like a damage control post, and there will be a bigger response later this week. If so, okay, but for now, we're going to take this at face value. So they didn't really address anything like that. They did, however, address what was cited as the straw that broke the camel's back, which was putting Missouri in random bundles. They did change that. Gotta give them props for that. However, it's unclear exactly how this is going to work. So they say they're going to provide Missouri in an alternative way to where players will be able to purchase her outright. And they said they were going to release it on a dev blog, which they did. More on that in a moment. The other thing of note here, 2 things of note. They didn't get Little White Mouse's name right. Which is kind of perfect for the whole tone of this whole kerfuffle. And 2, they did say that they are going to release Huron, and they are going to get her in the game. Huron is, I believe, it's obviously a Canadian cruiser. I'm trying to remember the class. I think it's a modified Fiji class that served with the Canadian Navy during World War II. And they've said before that, you know, we'll add this into the game at a future date, like the West Virginia, we're supposed to get West Virginia 44 in the future. It's been, I think, almost 2 years since West Virginia came into the game, and we don't have West Virginia 44. But they didn't give us a date for West Virginia 44. They've given us a date for Huron, 2022, late summer 2022. So I'm assuming either the July or August patch of next year. And if that's true and they add her into the game, all right, props for them for doing that. But they still didn't mention anything about the camouflage that Little White Mouse and Chobi made for the Yukon. That is something that's ready to go to be added into the game. I've heard that it has to deal with copyright and royalties, considering they made the camouflage and not Wargaming, so they have to write them a check for that. And honestly, if I was the person that was in charge of cleaning up the situation, and this is of course probably a hurdle for the employees trying to fix this, they don't have control over what they can do fully. If I had complete control over what I could do if I was in this situation, I was seeing that the player base and these CCs that have helped me build up this game to the point to where it is now, I surely would have at least thrown the camo in there, that pay them their royalty check, just get it in the game, and you could probably make money off of it too. You have to give them a cut of the profits, not all the profits. That's something that they could have easily done to earn some goodwill back with the players and with Little White Mouse and with the CCs for sure. But anyway, so Missouri, the other thing that again was cited by many of the CCs as taking it too far with the gambling. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they've posted in the dev blog. I have not looked at this yet. I've heard rumors of what this involves, but I have not read this dev blog in full, and I will leave a link to this in the description down below if you want to read along as I read aloud. So here we go. Update 10.7, Missouri Event and Economics. Captains, we would like to announce changes in the upcoming event with Missouri. Based on your feedback, we're going to add an alternative way of obtaining Missouri in 10.7. A special temporary web-based campaign dedicated to the end of World War II will be available from August 27th. It is a unique event with new mechanics. You'll have the chance to immerse yourself in the atmosphere of the greatest naval battles and choose your own path through the Pacific theater of World War II. We had this border campaign planned without Missouri, but based on your feedback and her special connection to the end of the war, we think this would be a great thematic fit to offer an alternative way of obtaining her. So after completing the campaign, you'll be able to purchase Missouri directly in the premium shop at the same price as other Tier 9 premium ships. Okay, I like that part. Completing the combat mission chains of the web campaign will reward you with Pacific tokens, commemorative flags of the key naval battles of World War II, a unique pack with Missouri's mottos, special signals, themed camouflage, and other rewards. Okay. The number of Pacific tokens you can get for free for the completion of the campaign will be sufficient to get either a 12 skill point commander of any of 8 nations or a premium ship 2 to 4 container from sequentially available bundles that also hold other rewards. We'll come back to that. At different stages of the campaign, you will have to make choices that determine the conditions of the combat mission change that you receive. Sometimes the difficulty, the location of the battles, and even the side you will fight for. The campaign will start on August 27th, and every 2 days a new campaign stage will be unlocked. Overall, the campaign will contain 7 stages, and the last one will be available for completion starting from September 8th. The campaign will be available until September 15th. All missions of the campaign can be finished in cooperative, random, and ranked battle modes and require USA and IJN ships from Tier 4 and higher. The campaign concentrates on its historical narrative rather than challenging gameplay. You should be able to complete it with approximately 60 battles, especially considering the possibility to complete missions in co-op. The next point that we want to address is Missouri's earnings. After analyzing Missouri's earnings over the past few days, we do see a need to increase the bonus for the special mission from 17 to 20%. The changes are implemented today at 10:30 UTC on all servers. This is just an initial correction. For more accurate adjustments, if they will be needed, we will need to collect more data in the current version to be totally sure that earnings at 10.7 will be the same or higher. We will continue to monitor the situation and will increase the bonus if needed to achieve the required numbers. We will update you on this topic in a few weeks and share some of the underlying data on the dev blogs. We hope that you will enjoy the special campaign and rewards even if you're not interested in Missouri. Thank you for your attention. Okay, so this campaign, web-based campaign. So I don't know what this is. I'm pretty sure they've never done this in the past. Well, they say as much in the dev blog. So it sounds like maybe where you go to interact with the campaign is probably on the game's website. But then it gives you combat missions for each stage in the game. So maybe you make your selection upon what side you want to fight for and what battles you want to partake in terms of historical naval battles. And then you get a series of combat missions with the theme of that battle. Which sounds fine to me. I mean, you get special signal flags and... Okay, let me make sure I read this right. The number of Pacific tokens you can get for free for completion of the campaign will be sufficient to get either a 12 skill point commander of any of 8 nations or a premium ship tier 2 to 4 container from sequentially available bundles that also hold other rewards. Okay, so it sounds like you either get a 12 point skill commander or a premium ship tier 2 to 4 container from random bundles, but you will get enough Pacific tokens upon completion of the event to make sure you get one of those at least. So a 12 point commander is, I mean, it's nice to get a 12 point commander, but a premium ship tier 2 to 4 would obviously be a lot better. A lot better. And I know it's 2 to 4. Doesn't sound like too much, but there's some really fun tier 3, tier 2, and tier 4 premiums in the game. They're good, derpy fun. I mean, I'd rather get that than 12-point commander, but a 12-point commander is like a mid-tier commander, you know, in terms of the amount of skill points that he has, and I'm sure any player would be glad to get a commander with 12 skill points. A nice starting point for a basic build. Much better than a 10-point commander like they normally give out. Okay, so the combat mission and the web-based campaign itself sounds like honestly a pretty good idea. It does take time to complete, though. It's going to take from the 27th of August to September 8th, so about a week and change to get it done. After that, you'll be able to purchase Missouri. That's a little bit weird, but okay. I mean, combat missions, and they even state that these missions aren't hard to do. You just need to have the proper ships. So American and IJN ships from tier 4 on up, which I imagine most of the players probably have those ships already. Those are, again, the 2 oldest lines in the game, so it's not like it's a brand new line that no one's had time to grind out or anything. So after all that's said and done, you can get Missouri by buying it now. You get permission to buy it after playing the campaign. And honestly, this should have been... If this was the way they were going to release the ship in the first place, if this was what the 4 doubloons meant in the original announcement of Missouri returning, that you just had to play through this little web campaign for a week, and then you could buy the Missouri. Great. Fantastic. Great way to bring the ship back. Great event to bring the ship back on, especially for the anniversary of World War II. Done. Dunzo. Perfect. This would have been the best way to bring the ship back under these circumstances. But now that, of course, everything's happened, this just looks like a way for them to save face. And it probably is exactly what they've done. So, I mean, I still don't think the ship's worth it at all. You've been watching this game going on in the background. If I was in Iowa, I would have done so much better in this game. The ship quite simply isn't worth it. And we know the price now. It's going to be the same price as a normal Tier 9 premium ship, so $80. Do you want to pay $80 to play a worse Iowa with radar that isn't even like up to snuff at Tier 9 anymore? Tier 9 and 10 radars are all 10, 11, or 12 kilometers. Some of the DDs are like 8, 8.5, and the Missouris is 9.5 kilometers. It's not up to snuff in terms of range for the tier anymore. Do you really want to pay $80 for a worse Iowa with radar? Now, from the historical aspect, I 100% understand that and get that. So, at the end of the day, it's a much better way to release the ship. Much better than putting it in random bundles. I think it's still going to be available in random bundles. If you want to take your risk with that, I would not spend more than $10 on it. You really shouldn't spend any money on it at all. Like, if you want to get the thing, just do the directives and then get the ship. You know, pay a flat rate for it rather than potentially going to God knows how many random bundles they're going to be releasing in this. But I still don't think you should buy the ship either way. It simply isn't worth it. Anyway, so the thing about the Missouri's economy, and they threw this in there like this is part of the big reason that a lot of CCs left? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, it was earning less than it was intended to, but they had already said that they would adjust it and such, and lo and behold, they did. I don't think they would have been able to get away with not adjusting Missouri's economy for those that already had her. The players that already had Missouri are some of the most dedicated players in the game, or they're some of the big spenders in the game, and I'm sure they wouldn't have just sat there and let their Missouri just earn way less credits than before. And at the end of this match, she's about right in terms of credit production with all the signal flags that I had on her and how I did in the game and how the game's outcome was. So it seems like they've dialed it in a little bit closer now. Well, actually a lot bit closer now. I think it's maybe just a little bit lower than normal. I'm going to have to go back and find a game where I had a similar result beforehand and see what the credit outcome was. But it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. Pretty Missouri. By the end of it, just I think a little bit underneath. They're pretty close right now. So that's Wargaming's statement, and that's what's happened since then, and what's happening now with Missouri, and my opinion on it. So guys, take this information and do with it what you will. If you're satisfied with that response, then, well, carry on as usual. If you're not satisfied with that response and you still want to make sure Wargaming hears you, again, like I've said in the past couple of videos, the best way to make sure that people that really matter hear your frustration is to just stop spending money on the game. That is the best way to do it. But at the end of the day, that's up to you guys to make up your own decisions and do what you will. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. When we did 30k subs, just passed 28,100 a few days ago, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Tomorrow we should return to our normally scheduled Warships coverage and be talking about surface ship interaction versus subs, something that I've been wanting to talk about for a couple of days, but of course this all blew up. But we should be talking about that again tomorrow, unless something really crazy happens overnight, which I doubt it. But anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.